Hey guys, just finished watching Arrow Season 7, Episode 1, Inmate 4587. Wow, what an episode. I'm so excited. And at first I was like all disappointed because, it looks like Diaz is kind of like the villain again. But the way they do this is it's so much interesting. I'm really excited for this season. So I got a lot of things to talk about. Let's try and not make this video too long, so let's jump into it. So the first thing here, we see Oliver. He has a nightmare of Diaz kind of killing, Felicity and William on the island and stuff. So that was kind of cool that he wakes up. And then we see there's a helpless inmate kind of who comes up to him, kind of cliche though, and uses him and asks for his protection, but Oliver just wants to be left alone. We see that Dirk Sampson, Bronze Tiger, and Danny Brookwell are in prison. That's pretty cool, having these three villains and stuff that he's put away and stuff. I think that's quite cool. Seeing that they're all here, I think it makes sense. I mean, some of the higher level, villains are obviously, in Argus facilities on the island and stuff. So I think that's kind of really cool there. We get Oliver ends up planting a knife on Bronze Tiger. That's the way they make it look. And then Bronze Tiger gets taken away by, I guess he goes, for what I remember from Orange is the New Black, he gets into the shoe, kind of in solitary confinement, for a while. But I mean, he blames Oliver for planting the knife, but he had the knife earlier on in the episode, just like a couple days ago in the opening, kind of like your montage type thing. So that was kind of weird there, but interesting, I guess. And then we see there's a new Green Arrow, he leaves a criminal for the cops. We see there's a flashback on the island and stuff with some guy looking for someone. Type's cool. Then we see, I think that was going to be interesting and stuff. We see Felicity, she's undercover and witness protection and stuff. She has like pink hair and all kinds of stuff with William. That was kind of cool, the kind of new look for her there. We see the Green Arrow kind of saves Renee, and he spends the rest of the episode pretty much kind of trying to stop Dinah from kind of taking him down and stuff. She's taken over as the lead captain of the police department and stuff. So I kind of trying to remember last time, where did we last leave with Paul Blackthorne with Captain Lance there, Quentin Lance. But last thing I think I remember of him is he was around he took off with Felicity's mother when Diaz was looking for everyone. Him and Felicity's mother took off. So I think that's where they're still at, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really remember. That's the last thing I can remember of where Quentin Lance is. I think he's with Mama Smoke, which I can't think of her name. Oh, whatever. But Felicity's mother and stuff. So I think that's going to be cool to see where things go if he comes back or whatnot. But obviously the Black Siren is kind of what assumes to be a district attorney. She's kind of running stuff. She only has like pretty much of a cameo, I guess, in this episode, just kind of taking over as Laurel's life and stuff. I think that's going to be quite cool to see how that plays along and where she kind of stands on this. If she's pretty much in plain sight, so I'm not sure as to if she's still working with Diaz. Is he over her? I mean, how is that really working? I guess if she's playing the Laurel, playing as Laurel Lance and stuff, then what is she really? Why isn't Diaz going after her? I mean, yes, Diaz is going to prioritize going after Felicity and William and Oliver in prison and all that stuff over her, but still, wouldn't he still want to go and get her? But I guess I could see if she's constantly, in the public eye somewhat, she keeps herself, in this kind of position where she's running stuff as a district attorney, that she's able to have gotten to this point, although I guess she's gotten to that point at 5 months, or I guess she picked up wherever Laurel left off, even though Laurel was dead and stuff. So I don't know, it's gonna be cool to see a bit more go into that as the season goes on. See that Curtis and Diggle are working for Argus and stuff, which obviously makes sense for Diggle. His wife running Argus and stuff, and then Curtis is, probably just got the job obviously there. That's pretty cool. Then we see that Stanley is beaten up by kind of Brick and Danny Brickwell and stuff, by Dirk Sampson and Danny Brickwell. I think that was kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool seeing these guys kind of returning and stuff, and using them. They're trying to find a way to a weakness type thing and prying at it, using this kind of this Stanley character. And I liked how Oliver kind of just walked away and let him get beat up and stuff. I think that was kind of an interesting move and a very kind of Arrow from season 1 mentality. I think that I like that just because he can't cave into everything like that. If it's this guy, then he can't cave into these little things. That they're just because someone is there. I think that's kind of interesting where he just leaves that and things will kind of keep going and stuff. I think that's really going to be an interesting idea, is to see where things go. What I would do if Oliver, instead of getting in and saving Stanley, is there's a gym there where they are able to kind of work out, help Stanley learn to fight, teach him a little stuff. I'm not sure if I guess the guards would probably stop him from teaching him how to fight, but he could teach him a little bit and stuff, teach him how to get in shape and stuff and hold his own or type thing. I think it could be cool to see that. But I like the idea how Oliver just kind of leaves him, because what does Oliver know about this guy? He's just a little guy in there, How does he know he's not playing Oliver, And I think that could be, I don't see that kind of thing coming, but it just, if I was Oliver, I wouldn't trust anyone, not even Stanley or anything like that, because there's a reason why he's in there, and there's also, they said he was framed and stuff like that, which is kind of cliche and stuff, and that's the one thing I didn't like about this episode, is that whole Stanley character and how they kind of used him. I like the way of setting that up. Obviously, someone's going to come in there, he's in prison, he's the Green Arrow, someone's going to go up to him and be like, hey, I need your help, protect me. Someone's going to say that, right? But the idea that Oliver can't just, do that to everyone, because all of a sudden he lets one in, all of a sudden a bunch of them are going to come after him. He's going to have to protect so many people. It's just going to be too much, right? And having even protecting one person like this is a weakness that he just can't afford inside a prison, right? So I think that's an interesting play. And who knows? Maybe Stanley is the mastermind behind this. This whole thing. Maybe he is playing him. So I think it's definitely going to be something cool to see as to where things go with that. But hopefully they don't play it as obvious as it is, just because right now it's kind of annoying and just kind of, it doesn't need to be there. But I'm liking the way that just choices that Oliver's making around that, and he looked like he just let him and stuff, but at the end he does talk about how, I'm not going to let anything happen to you and stuff. So it looks like he changes his mind, and I don't know, it just, he doesn't know, he doesn't know Stanley enough to really kind of, how does he know he's not playing him type of thing, and it's prison, people play each other, right? So I think that would be something that I'd like to see go into it, but I really don't want it to be, right now it seems a bit predictable as to where things are going to go, and then if it does end up, hopefully he doesn't become Oliver's weakness in prison is Stanley and stuff, and I think that's the way they were playing it in this episode, which is kind of annoying, but I'm glad that Oliver didn't let it become a weakness, and hopefully he doesn't let it ever become a weakness, or Stanley become a weakness type thing. We see the Diaz ends up finding Felicity and William. He kind of beats the crap out of them. Felicity's able to kind of take out knock the gun out of Diaz and stuff, and it was interesting when this scene first showed up. I was like, oh, is this a flash? Just a nightmare, maybe William's nightmare or Felicity's nightmare or even Oliver's nightmare type thing. I think that it's an interesting idea, playing with that. But I was kind of disappointed. And kind of the scene also reminded me is, why hasn't anyone trained William? He's always in constant danger. He's always a threat. He's always been this, just like Thea was in the earlier seasons of Arrow, and now she's able to kind of somewhat handle her own, which is another thing that is going to be interesting to see we know that Roy is going to be back and stuff. It was announced a long time ago that he would be back for this season, but I think it was going to be cool to see as to where how he ties into it without Thea type thing, since she left to go live her life with him. She abandoned, she wanted to go live happy ever after with Roy Harper. So I think, how do you bring Roy Harper back without bringing Thea when they ended that way, right? So I think that's really going to be cool to see that. And I think, the idea of training William, I don't know why he's not, being trained by, he should have been trained by Oliver before he was in prison. And also he could be trained by Diggle, he could be trained by, Renee. They should all take turns, training him. And even Felicity, she needs to have some sort of hand-to-hand combat, and she does talk later on about how she wants to fight back. And obviously it's probably going to be her, using her tech and stuff to actually fight back, but hopefully she can also use this to physically learn how to fight back and start taking, some sort of stuff. She's been, meeting so many people in so many situations where if she had some sort of skills, it was interesting, it was cool to see her kind of, not shy away from the fight, not just run away from from Diaz. It wasn't just like she threw the coffee in his face and then ran away with William. That's it. She actually kind of attacked him and stuff. I think that was cool and stuff. It's kind of brave of her. But I think after all these years, 7 seasons, and it's time for her to kind of learn something. Doesn't need to become a full-on superhero. Just needs to learn and start, improving her skills. Even if she never uses it, it would be cool to see her punching. And I think there was an episode like way back in season 3 and stuff where she was kind of jealous of when Sarah just first came around. She was jealous of Sarah's scars and all of her scars and Diggle's scars. Everyone had wounded scars, and she didn't have anything, right? Sarah was kind of this so tough female, and she was kind of a bit jealous and playing with that. And I think that was the episode where there was Vertigo. Was it one of the early Vertigo episodes? But I think it was season 3 when Sarah was around and stuff, and I think that was kind of cool. And I think later on she ends up actually getting shot, Felicity, in that season. And there's like that moment where she's kind of high on morphine or something, or one of those pills and stuff, and she's kind of just sprouting out her soul and all that stuff, and she's all loopy and stuff. And I think that it would be funny to bring this back to that. I think this could be the perfect opportunity to bring that in. Maybe they send off William to the school, and he actually starts to learn, take up karate, take up something. And when he's not in school, he takes up all kinds of training on his own, so that he can come back and join his father and stuff and fight. And I think that's really going to be cool to see that. And this is where we're going to see I think we might see that with the flash forward at the end, where we see that Roy is on the island, and it's a flash forward with William and stuff. And I think that was such a mind blown. That was so cool seeing that. I think that's really going to be cool to see if that's how we see Roy Harper. And obviously the big theory was, is Roy Harper is the Green Arrow coming back, but that doesn't seem seems too obvious, with knowing that Colton Haynes is returning and Roy Harper is going to be coming back. I think that could be an interesting idea, but I feel like the other thing that makes more sense is some sort of time travel, which obviously we knew time travel exists with Flash and Legend of Tomorrow in this universe, having some sort of time travel with where maybe not we have maybe we have future William in that suit. I think that could be really cool. Now, if William were to start now training, he gets sent off to boarding school somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and he starts training. I think that could be an interesting idea. I think it'd be cool to see that, and I'd like to see bits and pieces of that. So I just feel like this season, obviously, we're going to have the flashbacks are going to be the flash forwards, but I'd like to see bits and pieces every now and then, just touching upon what William's doing over there. And when he's over when he's in boarding school, just bits and pieces, one scene every 5 episodes or whatever type thing, and just show him maybe in school, and then he leaves school and he takes it to class and he's training, and then every episode, we wait 5 episodes and we see him again, and he's improved a little bit more, just a little bit. I mean, not too fast and stuff. He was supposed to be spending years doing that, right? And I think that could be an interesting idea, just him wanting to have some skills. Like, he couldn't do anything when he saw Diaz pointing the gun at Felicity. So I definitely can't wait to see as to where things are going to go with all this show, and I'm really excited to see where things are going. I feel like time travel is definitely going to be involved in this. It gets annoying. The only thing is that you have this time travel stuff here, or at least hint at it, that there's going to be time travel when you have Flash and you have Legend of Tomorrow, and this time travel and the Legend of Tomorrow time travel is they never connect to each other, and that kind of annoys me how sometimes it does. Like Flashpoint changes Diggle's child and stuff, but you have this. How is that going to affect? Hopefully we can see connections of that here and there. I'll have to wait and see as to where things go. Maybe if there is some sort of time travel later on, we get it. They're no longer doing next season of Legend of Tomorrow. It's not going to be anachronisms. This time it's kind of magical anachronisms, I guess, since they're playing with magic instead of time travel. So maybe that could be the way that they, if they're going to do time travel on Arrow. to kind of not have it affect Legends or Flash or whatever. We'll just have to wait and see as to where things go with that. But I think it's going to be really cool to see how things kind of continue on with here, and I'm really excited to see what's going on with Roy Harper in the future and William and all that stuff. I think that'll be really cool as to why is Roy Harper on the island. I imagine that maybe Thea's dead or something, and that could be really cool, at least in this future, right? Or could this be a dystopian future that they don't want to get to, so they have to come back in time to stop it? Kind of like Impulse in Young Justice, how he goes back in time to stop what was it? I forget the character, but it was like Impulse in Young Justice season 2. He goes back in time to stop the Reach apocalypse, but he ends up he fixes one of the bad guys, but doesn't. And we never got the answer to that or something. So I think that was going to be cool to see as to where things kind of continue on with all this in the rest of the season. So I'm excited to see where things go with this. But like I said, I'd like to see Felicity start training, at least slowly learned how to get some fighting skills on her. But it needs to be a slow burn, because she can't just be as good as anyone else type thing who has no experience, right? So it would be cool to see her get some training and slowly start practicing more than just she has some hand-to-hand combat or skills or something like that. It could be cool. So all in all, I really can't wait to see this, and I'm hoping that we get this, maybe a connection to this over on the Flash. Like last time Oliver was in prison, or he was outed as the Green Arrow, it was in the paper in the Flash. I think that was really cool, and I think having that here could be a little nice thing to see. Maybe Barry zips by and talks to him, or just little things. Even if we just have the blur effect from the Flash, just a CGI file without actually having Grant Gustin doing anything, I think could be an interesting idea. But just getting the acknowledgement, maybe, the scene that the new Green Arrow's in there, Oliver Queen's in prison, and there's a new Green Arrow, and just teasing that over on the Flash show would also tease the viewers to go watch that show. So I think that should be something they need to do more, and hopefully we get to do that. We didn't see that last time in the Flash, but it was airing like the week it was airing a week earlier than this. So maybe the next episode 2 of the Flash should maybe mention this, that there's a new Green Arrow in town. I think that could be an interesting idea, just to see them, what, and then kind of something else pops up, right? They're watching the TV, and then they see that, and that's the news report, and then boom, he gets a text saying he has to go do something else, right? So you don't really get his opinion on the matter, but you just get the idea that, oh, he's aware of that now, though. He's aware of what's going on in the Flash, on Arrow type thing, and vice versa, kind of, although he's in prison, he's not really going to know what's going on over in Central City. So yeah, it's really going to be fun to see where things go with all this and how things continue on. So if you have any theories, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any idea of if there's a reference in the 4587, I feel like it has to be a reference using that as a title type thing. Maybe it's just a number. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I imagine it would be some sort of reference. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.